Assalamu alaikum to everyone. This is Sir Abil Ahmed, your ATX teacher. Today is the first class of Finance Act 2022. I'm very excited and I strongly believe you people are also excited to learn this all together new Finance Act 2022. Before explaining what are the changes in ATX, because in ATX nowadays students they have introduced 20 professional marks, which they have already introduced in other papers and other optional papers. Now 20 professional marks they have introduced in ATX. In addition to that, in ATX there are 5 ethics marks for ethics as well. So due to the introduction of 20 professional and 5 marks for ethics, I strongly believe now passing ATX is far more easier as compared to previously, and it was very easy previously also. But now obviously professional marks and 5 marks for ethics makes passing ATX easier. So before discussing all these things, what are the changes and how do we get professional marks, what about the ethics, each and everything, let me first tell you, this Finance Act 2022 is valid for how many attempts? Number one. Finance Act 2022, dear student, it is valid for June 2023. It is valid for September 2023. It is valid for December 2023, and finally it is valid for March 2024. So these are the 4 attempts in which Finance Act 2022 is valid. But a very good thing is there are very minimal changes as compared to Finance Act 2021, but either there's a change or not. Obviously you'll be studying all together the new Finance Act, which is 2022, which is valid for these 4 attempts: June 23, September 23, December 23, and March 23. Let me first discuss the paper pattern of ATX and then slowly and gradually the changes in each and everything. What do we have in syllabus? How I'm going to teach, we'll discuss that inshallah. So dear student, in ATX paper, now we have obviously section A, we used to have previously also, and we do have a section B also. But now in section A, dear student, you will be having only one question. In section B, you will be having question 2 and 3. So altogether in ATX, there will be 3 questions, means no choice at all. In each question, you will be getting marks. There will be marks, we call them technical marks. So technical marks, they depend on technical knowledge. In question 1, 40 marks depends on technical knowledge. In section B, on technical knowledge, question 2 will give you 20 marks, and question 3 will give you 20 marks for the technical knowledge. Okay. Now let's talk about professional skills. Professional skills marks. So basically, in question 1, professional marks are 10. In question 2, professional marks are 5. In question 3, professional marks are 5. So it means section A, 50, 25, 25. It means if I make one column for the total, you have 80 technical marks. 80 technical marks. You have 80 technical marks. Okay. So now the technical marks are 80 and marks depend on the professional knowledge is 20. So this is the paper pattern. Looks very good to me. That in question 1, 40 marks depends on your technical knowledge, 10 professional. Then section B, you will be having 2 questions, each 25 marks. So if I talk about the entire paper is consists of 80 technical marks and 20 professional marks. Okay. Now let me do the little bit more postmortem of question 1. Let's go into detail of question 1, which comes in section A. If I further break this question, one of 40 marks, so listen, out of this 40, logically, you will be getting 35 marks, I would say pure technical knowledge. But a very good thing, I think you should appreciate ATX examination team. They have already told us that in question 1, which out of 40, 35 marks will be on technical knowledge and 5 marks on ethics. So at least we know that exactly where they'll be asking ethics. So 5 marks for ethics. So this is in question 1 out of 40. Pure 35 marks on technical knowledge and 5 ethics, and obviously 10 professional marks. 10 professional marks. Okay. Now the question is, what are the how do we get those professional marks, and what are the components of those professional marks? I'm coming to that. But before coming to that, let me tell you one thing. The question 1 which comes in section A, basically this question 1 will have number of exhibits. This question 1 will have number of exhibits. Obviously it's a 35 altogether 50 marks question. So you'll be having number of exhibits in question 1. Now, if I talk about question 2 and question 3, both will come in section B. Dear student, normally, I would say normally you will get 1 exhibit. Normally, there could be 2, very rare chances of coming 2 exhibits, but normally I would say normally question 2 will have normally 1 exhibit. The same goes on question 3, only 1 exhibit. That is normally I'm saying. So number of exhibits we are expecting only in question 1. In question 2, question 3, there will be 1 exhibit in which we'll be having a little bit scenario information of the question, and obviously followed by the requirements. Then the question 3, 1 exhibit and followed by the requirements. Now you might be thinking, sir, what about the components of getting professional marks? Let me explain the components of professional marks. How will you get professional 20 marks? Number 1 is skill, dear student, which you need to develop is communication. That is communication. Number 1 is skill you need to develop is communication. So if I just tell you the main components of professional marks, the one is communication. And a very important point, if I give you a little bit idea on the communication, in section A, number 1, the communication skill is only tested in section A. Repeat. Communication skill is only tested in section A, number 1. Number 2, in communication, you should be able to know what is the format of the report, what is the format of the memo, and what is the format of the discussion paper. Obviously, when we'll be studying, we'll be covering all these things. But again, let me repeat, communication skill is only examined in section A. Second, professional skill component is analysis and evaluation. Analysis and evaluation. Analysis and evaluation. Let me give you a little bit idea on this analysis and evaluation. For analysis, if I give you a little bit idea, that is a very important point is in an analysis, I would say the first component will be ATX calculation. ATX calculation. You should be really good in ATX calculation. In analysis, the first component of analysis could be ATX calculation. You should be really good in ATX calculation. Another thing for analysis, you should know the data correctly. You should know the data, which data you are using. If you are solving a corporation tax question, if the scenario is in corporation tax, okay, so which area of the corporation tax is in front of you? You should know that. So is it 75% loss relief group, for example, it is a 75% capital gain group, For example, degrouping charges arising or not arising, SSE is available or not available. So basically you should know the data. Analysis, two things, I'm just giving you the idea. You should be really good in ATX calculation. Another point is you should know the data correctly. The scenario actually really is the scenario which you are facing. Is it on corporation? Is it on individuals? Now let's talk about evaluation. If I give you an idea on evaluation, so simply one point I want to say: conclude correctly. Evaluation, conclude correctly. For example, let me just give you an example on evaluation. I'm saying conclude correctly. For example, let's say there's Mr. X is an individual who wants to know from you, because you are the tax consultant, and Mr. X wants to know either he should cease his business on 31st January or he should continue the business till 30th April and then sell it. So you need to conclude correctly that on which date seizing the business, is it viable, is it more beneficial for him to seize the business on 31st January or to continue the business till 30th April. Conclude correctly. Another example could be, for example, Mr. Y is being offered job from company A as well as company B. So which company's offer Mr. Y should opt? So evaluation, conclude correctly. Third point of third component of the professional skill, dear student, which you need to develop is skepticism. Skepticism, in which normally students are very good because all the time they behave like auditors. Skepticism, just I will if I give you an example on skepticism, you should challenge the information given in the question to you. Skepticism, you can challenge the information, but obviously on a reasonable grounds. So skepticism, you can challenge the information which is given to you, but on reasonable grounds, on logical grounds. How do we challenge the information? We'll see that. Don't worry at all. Skepticism. The final component of the professional marks is commercial acumen. Commercial acumen. Commercial acumen. Commercial acumen, for example, if I give you the example of the commercial acumen, whatever the scenario which you are facing, for example, you are working for a client. So commercial acumen could be, does it work for the client? If you are a consultant, does it work for you? So you need to know this component of the last component of the professional marks is commercial acumen. Now listen and listen carefully. All these four professional marks components are examined in question 1. Repeat. All four components of professional marks are examined in question 1. But when it comes to section B, so in section A, all four components are examined. But when I talk about section B, in section B, when it comes to professional marks, communication will not be examined in section B. So your communication skill will not be examined in section B. Nobody is asking the communication skill in section B. So obviously, then out of the remaining three components of the professional marks, they will be either asked testing 2 or could be 3. But a very important point, again, I think we should be thankful to our ATX examination team. They have already told us that we are not asking communication skill in section B. So you will not be you will not be tested. You will not be in fact asked a report format, discussion paper format, memo format in section B. So another point which I really want to add over here, Getting these professional marks is very easy, and especially getting 5 marks on ethics is extremely easy. Because throughout the syllabus, when we'll be inshallah covering our entire ATX, it, I'm going to cover all these professional along with the ethics marks in almost in each and every question. Obviously, where appropriate. But don't worry at all. How will you be able to get all these marks? Obviously, we'll be doing number and lots of practice question, including these all is professional marks skill. The good thing is that they're not they have introduced professional marks in ATX in this attempts onward, but already they have introduced these professional marks in other professional papers earlier. So we already have a lots of data over there. But during my lectures, I'll be inshallah teaching number of questions with the example of these professors, where I'll be including all these covering these professional marks in detail. But right now, I just wanted to tell you these are the changes in the paper pattern, and getting if you are able to get 20 professional marks, if you're able to get 5 marks on ethics, which is very easy, I would say. So it means altogether, it means I would say 25 marks are in your pocket. All you need is in order to pass additional 25 marks. So that what makes ATX passing this paper more easier. Now let us talk about what do we have in the course in the syllabus. The syllabus is same, no change at all. So let us discuss what do we have in the syllabus and how we will be studying. Let me go to towards that. ATX. Actually, what I do, the entire ATX the entire ATX syllabus I divide in different components, different heads. The number one head I would say is individuals. Individuals like you and me. Obviously in UK, not only corporations, they pay tax. Individuals, they obviously also pay tax. So one area of the syllabus deals with individuals. For example, just I'm giving you the examples. Individual, for example, someone is earning employment income. So how that person is going to pay tax. So in individuals, we'll be covering, for example, employment income, property income, self-employment, partnership, income from the partnership, saving income, dividend income. So these are the things which we'll be covering inshallah in individuals. A very important and a big head of ATX. The second part, CGT, capital gain tax. So what are the rules for capital gain tax? We'll see that. First, we'll be studying capital gain tax inshallah for individuals and then for corporations. Third point, the third head of ATX syllabus is IHT, inheritance tax. Fourth is VAT, value added tax. Fifth, I would say corporation tax. Corporation tax, a very important component, corporation tax. And another, you will never, I'm just telling you, these are the 5 main heads of the ATX syllabus. Number one, individuals. Obviously, when we'll be studying for individuals, we'll be doing property income and so many other incomes, and obviously we'll be doing self-employment for individuals, self-assessment for individuals, CGST, VAT and corporation tax, and obviously we'll be doing self-assessment for corporation as well. And obviously we'll be doing separately ethics as well, because we have to give proper time to ethics, because it is categorically mentioned by the examination team that in question 1 you will be examined 5 marks on ethics, and getting seriously 5 out of 5 in ethics is extremely easy, dear students. So properly I'm going to cover that ethics area inshallah. And let me tell you one more thing. There's no need to buy any book at all. All you need is just you have to follow my compile notes. They will have each and everything inshallah. Okay, now for individuals, basically we will start our ATX from individuals, and this is the sequence how I'm going to teach you. First we'll cover individuals inshallah, then CGT, IHT, VAT, and finally we'll go to corporation. Now let me talk about individuals. Before starting, how do individual they pay tax in UK? Let me tell you a few basic things, and then slowly and gradually I'll start different calculations. And before starting any calculation, let me tell you one thing. I will start teaching you students from zero, from scratch, keeping in mind that you don't have any previous knowledge. I don't care, have you studied F6, the business taxation, the way back or not? No issue at all. Because normally when students they reach at ATX, normally they forget each and everything, whatever they have studied. So don't worry at all. I'll start from zero. I'll start from scratch, and I always assume that student they don't carry any previous knowledge, so I have to teach from zero means zero. But you are not supposed to prove it. I'll be teaching you from zero with my honesty. Okay. The first thing which I really want to tell you, if somebody asks you what is tax, what is tax? What is the purpose of tax? Why the government collects tax? Now let me tell you one thing. Tax is simply a source of revenue for the government. Source of revenue for the government. Source of revenue for the government. So tax is source of revenue for the government. So what is tax? Tax is a source of revenue for the government. Now the question which comes in sometimes students' mind, why the government charges tax? Because the objective of charging tax is to charge the tax to the wealthy individuals. For example, if I'm talking about individuals, wealthy individuals, they are earning, let's say, more than the personal allowance, which is 12570. If someone is earning more than the personal allowance, means someone is charging the tax to the wealthy individual and is spending that money for the welfare of the whole society. For example, spending that money to create jobs, spending that money on infrastructure. So the objective is to charge money, to charge tax to the wealthy people and to help, of course, to then then government will be able to work for the welfare of the society. If government does not have the money, they cannot help anyone. So simply tax is a source of revenue for the government. Okay. Now, when it comes to individuals, individuals in UK they pay tax according to the taxpayer. Individuals in UK pay tax according to the taxpayer. According to the taxpayer, or you can say fiscal year. Okay. So how do we pay tax in UK? Individuals, they pay tax in UK according to the tax year, or another name for the tax year is fiscal year. In UK, tax year of fiscal year actually starts from 6th April, ends on the next 5th April. For example, if the tax year starts from 6th April 2020, then it ends at 5th April 2021. And how do we write this tax year? We'll write 2020 and 2021. The tax year is 2021. Your next tax year will start from 6th April 2021, ends at 5th April 2022 and 21-22. Another tax year starts from 6th April 2022, ends at 5th April 2023, and that is how do we write 22-23. So simply in UK, individuals they pay tax according to the tax year, and in UK tax year starts, fiscal year starts from the 6th April and it ends on the next 5th April. Okay. Now, so this is how do we write basically tax year. Okay. In UK, every individual is not supposed to pay tax. Repeat, in UK, every individual is not supposed to pay tax. Only those individuals are required to pay tax they are earning more than the personal allowance. Personal allowance. Repeat, in UK, every individual is not supposed to pay tax. As I mentioned earlier, wealthy people will be paying tax. in UK, according to the HMRC is the tax authority of the UK. According to HMRC, wealthy people are those they are earning more than the personal allowance. The personal allowance limit is 12570, which is same as it was in the previous Finance Act. So let me tell you one more thing, dear student, and don't get into this what was in the previous Finance Act and what is in the new Finance Act. Actually, you people are studying Finance Act 2022. That is more important. So personal allowance, only those individuals will be paying tax they are earning more than the personal allowance. Okay. Now, if I talk about an individual, what are the possible sources of income for the individuals? Repeat. What are the possible sources of income for the individuals? Let me tell you. The possible sources of income for the individuals. One possible source of income for individual could be non-saving incomes. Non-saving incomes. Non-saving income. For example, if I give you the example of non-saving incomes, it could be property income. Property income is an example of non-saving income. It could be employment income. Another example of non-saving income. Third, let's say another trading income, income from sole tradership, self-employment. So we are talking about trading income. So there could be pension income and so many others, etc., etc. For example, pension income is another example of non-saving income. Income which you are getting from the partnership, the share of the profit which you are getting from the partnership, it is also the example of non-saving, etc., etc., etc. So one possible source of income for the individual is non-saving income. That is, for example, property income, employment income, trading income, share of profit which you are getting from the partnership. Even pension income falls in non-saving. Another source of income for individual could be saving income. Saving income simply means interest income. Saving income simply means interest income. And finally, that is dividend income. Dividend income means obviously dividend income. So for individual, possible sources of income are non-saving. One individual could be earning from the non-saving source of non-saving incomes. He might also be getting income from the saving income. He might also be earning dividend. Okay. Another point which I've already mentioned over here. Every individual in UK does not pay tax. Only those individuals pay tax in UK they are earning more than the personal allowance. Only those individuals they pay tax in UK they are earning more than the personal allowance, and the personal allowance limit is 12570. Okay. Now, first, dear student, we'll be learning how to calculate income tax liability, and then slowly and gradually I'll start the proper topic. Right now I'm just teaching you the few basic things. First, we did discuss the paper pattern, changes in ATX, which was very important. We did discuss this Finance Act 2022 is valid for how many attempts. And now we are basically learning how do we calculate income tax liability for individuals. Because as I mentioned earlier, first inshallah we'll be studying ATX for individuals, then CGT, IST, VAT corporation. Okay. And let me tell you one more thing. In ATX, if I tell you one more thing, in ATX, to be very honest, the drafting in ATX is very, very, very easy. So you should not be worried about the drafting skill in ATX. It is extremely easy. Okay. And in ATX is the paper in which you will be getting calculation as well as theory. But the drafting part, theoretical part is extremely easy, provided that if you know the rules, then theoretical area will not disturb you at all. And it is my job to make sure that my students are equipped with each and everything. Alhamdulillah, so far in my bag I have Alhamdulillah, so far we have produced 7 position holders. So it means 7 position holders means a lot, and I'm expecting more to come inshallah in this attempt. So it means joining your teacher, ATX teacher, Abil Ahmed. Inshallah, you'll be in safe hands. Don't worry at all. So let's talk about how do we calculate income tax payable for individuals. Number one, I'm discussing how do we tax non-saving income. Non-saving income. In non-saving income, dear student, how do we tax non-saving income? We have bands for taxation. The first one is basic rate band. Basic rate band limit starts from £1, ends at 37,700. Dear student, the tax rate is 20%. Then we go for higher rate band. Higher rate band. Higher rate band starts from 37,701, ends at 1,50,000, and the tax rate is 40%. But you should note one thing. Higher rate band is not starting from £1. Actually, higher rate band starts when the basic rate band is consumed. When the basic rate band is fully utilized, then the higher rate band starts. Then additional rate. Additional rate basically band starts 1,50,001 plus it goes with above no limit at all. The tax rate is 45%. So the basic rate band starts from £1, ends at 37,700. The tax rate is 20%. High rate band starts from 37701, goes till 150. Tax rate is 40%. Additional rate starts from 1,50,001 and then there's no limit. The tax rate is 45%. Quickly, if I tell you the tax rate for the saving income. Saving income. The tax rate are same. We have 20%, we have 40%, and we have 45%. Dividend income. Dividend income. The third column is representing dividend income. And for dividend income, in basic rate band, the tax rate is 8.75%. For higher rate band, the tax rate is 33.75%. And finally, for additional rate, the tax rate is 39.35%. So these are the tax rates for different sources of income. Okay. So for non-saving, tax rates are 20, 40, 45. The same rates are for saving income, but for dividend income, for basic rate band, the tax rate is 8.75%. For higher rate band, the tax rate is 33.75%. And for additional rate band, it is 39.75%. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. Okay. Let us see one question, a very small question. Assuming we have Mr. A having employment income, which is a non-saving income of 90,000. Okay. And we are just required to calculate tax payable. The requirement is calculate tax payable for Mr. A. Simply, we need to calculate tax payable for Mr. A. How do we calculate? We know that employment income is a non-saving income. Okay. Employment income is a non-saving income. Employment income is 90,000 pound. As I mentioned earlier, you will not be paying tax if your earning is less than the personal allowance. You will be paying tax only on that earning which is in fact more than the personal allowance. So let us first deduct the personal allowance. First deduct the personal allowance. Personal allowance is 12570. After deducting the personal allowance, you will get taxable income. You will get taxable income. Let me use the calculator. And let me tell you one more thing. Number of questions, dear student, number of questions we'll be doing on Excel as well as number of practice question, inshallah, we'll be doing on ACCA CB platform. So that you should be having a really good idea how to solve these questions on ACCS CV platform as well. That will give you a really good simulation which you will be facing in your actual exams. So solving number of questions on CV platform is extremely important, which I am going to cover inshallah, so that we can give you a great, really good simulation. And all you need is, dear student, just follow my lectures, follow my instruction. There's no need to do anything extra. All you need is just follow all the instruction which you are provided. If you do that, you can easily pass the exam, easily. Dear student, I'm getting 77,430. Okay. Now let's calculate tax. We need to calculate income tax. Okay. First, the basic rate band. Basic rate band. We are applying the, we are over here we are facing non-saving income, so basic rate band non-saving income 37,700 into 20%. 37,700 into 20%, I'm getting 7,540. Okay, now listen and listen carefully. The taxable income is 77,430. Out of this 77,430, we have already taxed 37,700. So if you deduct 37,700 from 77,430, so whatever the difference comes, that falls in higher rate band. Higher rate band, non-saving. So let me use a calculator. 77,430 minus 37,700. So I'm getting 39,730. 77,430 minus 37,700. I'm getting 39,730 into 40%. Into 40%. I'm getting 15,892. So plus 7540. So your tax payable is 23,432. The tax payable is, your income tax payable is 23,432. Let's do one more question. Another thing, dear student, you will be getting all the PDF which I'm doing right now. When you join the course, you will be getting these PDF as well. If someone does not have the time to make the register or doing the practice, at least just for the lectures, you will be getting PDF of this working which I'm doing, inshallah. One more question. Let's say we have an employment income of 75,000. Requirement is same. Calculate income tax payable. Calculate income tax payable. Now, dear student, I really want every one of you, whoever is watching this lecture, either in the class or YouTube, I really want every one of you attempt this question. And seriously, if you're watching this lecture on the YouTube, and do give the your answer on the YouTube, and then see did you get the right answer, correct answer or not. Employment income is 75, income tax payable. Let's see how to calculate. We know that employment income is a non-saving income. Employment income is a non-saving income. Employment income. Let us first deduct the personal allowance, which is 12570. After deducting the personal allowance, you will get taxable income. You will get taxable income. You will get taxable income. 75,000 minus 12570. The taxable income is 62,430. Now let's calculate income tax. Income tax. Basic rate band. Non-saving. 37,700 into 20%. You will get 7540 if I'm not wrong. Let's see. Yes, it is the case. Now, How much falls in higher rate band? Let's see. Dear student, the taxable income is 62,430. Out of that 62,430, we have already calculated tax on 37,700. So 62,430 minus 37,700 gives me 24,730. That falls in higher rate band. I have to take 40% of this. I have to take 40% of this, which is 9892. So here comes your income tax payable. Income tax payable. Here comes your income tax payable. It is 17,432. Let me check. 7540 plus 9892. Yes, the income tax payable is 17,432. That's great. Now let's talk about. If I say saving income means only one thing, which is interest income. Dear student, saving income, the tax rate are same as I mentioned earlier. For basic rate band, 20%, higher rate band, 40%, additional rate, 45%. Okay, but there's few additional things in saving income. Let me tell you those. Basically, in saving income, there's one concept of starting rate band. In a starting rate band, the amount is 5,000 and the tax rate is 0%. When do we use a starting rate band? How a starting rate band works? You need to wait for that. I'll explain you inshallah. Second concept, second rule relating to saving income. If someone is a basic rate taxpayer, then that individual gets nil rate band of 1,000. If taxpayer is a basic rate taxpayer, then individual gets nil rate band of 1,000 pound, obviously where the tax rate is 0%. And the third and the last point, which only pertains to saving income. If an individual is a higher rate taxpayer, then individual gets nil rate ban of 500 pounds. Finally, additional rate taxpayer does not get nil rate ban in saving income. Obviously, student, you might be thinking, sir, when this starting rate band issue will arise, and what about this nil rate band, and how do we find out that someone is a basic rate taxpayer or someone is a higher rate taxpayer or an additional rate taxpayer? How do we decide? And when we are going to apply all these rules for saving in, let me give you the answer on that. If you really want to know how do we use this starting rate band, how do we find out who falls in basic rate band and who is a higher rate taxpayer and who is an additional rate taxpayer? If you really want to know, then you must watch another lecture which comes after this. This is the first lecture of ATX. In the next lecture, I'll give answer to all these questions. But before ending this session, ending this class, I'm just telling you a few things. Number one, ATX passing rate, we are holding it is exceptional. It is exceptional, to be very honest. Having more than 90% passing rate is exceptional. Alhamdulillah. Another thing, you will be getting proper guidance. Proper guidance means proper. You'll be getting proper notes compiled by me. We'll be doing lots and lots of, obviously, Kaplan Kit, updated Kaplan Kit questions, Finance Act 2022. No old question at all. Each and every question will be from Finance Act 2022. Another thing, throughout the session, professional marks. How do we get professional marks? That will be, I'm going to cover that area properly, inshallah. In ATX, you should not be expecting only calculation in exams. Obviously, the theoretical part is very vital in order to pass ATX. So, as I mentioned earlier, the drafting in ATX is extremely easy. How do we draft that properly? We will explain you. And let me tell you a few more products which we offer. Number one, altogether, you can say there will be 6 at least assignments or tests, and you will be getting proper debrief on those assignments, or you can say test. That's a unique product. Another unique product which we give you, that is at the end of the session, not now obviously, at the end of the session you will be getting ATX smart revision as well. What I do in is ATX smart revision. ATX smart revision, dear student, within 25 lectures, where each lecture will be of only 30 minutes, I cover almost the entire ATX. So joining us means you will be getting smart ATX revision as well. And what about my lectures? How many lectures will be there and what I'm going to cover? Let me tell you that. Normally, each of my lecture will be approximately 45 minutes long because I don't believe on very long lectures, because I strongly believe if the lecture goes for 1.5 hours or even 2 hours, student, they lose the interest, because screen time of the student, I don't believe is going just 2 hours. 45 minutes, according to me, 40 to 45 minutes is an ideal time which a student can sit in front of the screen, and after 10 to 15 minutes break, he is ready to watch another video. So each lecture, the maximum it's going to be on average 45 minutes, otherwise the average lies between 40 to 45 minutes. Normally, the entire ATX will be completed inshallah within 80 lectures, and from, let's assume in 80 lectures, if I have completed ATX, then from lecture 81 it goes till 110, and from 81 till 110 all will be the practice videos, and in each video I'm going to cover one proper past paper question. But during that first 80 lectures, I will inshallah cover plenty of past paper questions already. So those from 81 till you can say 110, those 30 questions will be additional practice, okay, and that additional practice will fully equip you for the preparation of ATX, professional marks, 5 marks on ethics. You should be fully prepared inshallah after watching all these lectures, because in approximately 80 lectures we cover the entire syllabus. Then from 81 it goes till 110, all the practice lectures. Then you will be having ATX smart revision of 25 lectures, and 6 you can say assignment or test, and 2 mocks also. So to be very honest, joining us means you will be inshallah in safe hands. And I'm not the new in this area. I'm having alhamdulillah teaching experience more than 20 years. Maybe now you can imagine, you might be having, your age might be somewhere 20, 21, maybe little bit above than 20. And your teacher who's teaching you ATX, he is having experience of teaching alhamdulillah more than 20 years. The experience is almost equal to the age of, I would say, number of my students. And so far we have produced 7 position holders alhamdulillah, many more to come inshallah. So simply, and there will be a WhatsApp group as well in which you can ask questions. You will be getting properly reply on each and every question. In addition to that, finally, I forgot to tell you one thing. Every week, inshallah, there will be one live revision class. You will be getting pre-recorded lectures of the course. You will be getting pre-recorded lecture of ATX Smart Revision. You will be getting pre-recorded lecture for 6 assignments. In addition to that, there will be one live revision weekly class as well. So every week you will be getting a chance to ask the question in the live class also. So our package is, I would say, my package covers each and everything. So it means joining us means simply you will be in safe hands. I would say thank you very much watching this lecture, and I would say I'm not saying have a nice day. I'm not saying have a nice evening. I would say rather I would say have a nice life. So thank you very much watching this lecture. Assalamu alaikum to everyone.